Okay, so the problem statement, the problem we're trying to get after out here is that we've known for some time, certainly since the OIF, OEF era has taken place, that our adversaries are quickly catching up with us. Access denial to forcible entry has been a growing problem for some decades, but certainly gotten a lot worse while we were focused on fighting a technological primitive enemy and focused understandably almost exclusively on that. Now, a cunning and persistent enemy, but technologically primitive. And what we see now is the anti-access problem has come to the point where we need to start coming up with new ways to do things. And we think technology is part of the solution to that. I'll give you an example. I came in the Marine Corps in 1990, the year the Soviet Union fell. And really my whole experience, guys of my generation, our experience is we're guaranteed maritime supremacy. We're guaranteed air supremacy. We're the guys in the battlefield with the PGMs. We're the guys in the battlefield with the UAS systems and the cyber and the EW. That's no longer true. We see just an enemy as primitive as ISIS is now flying UAVs on us, and it's giving us fits. We're not used to being observed from the time we leave the wire to the time we return to the wire. Okay, all that said, it's obviously our mission, along with others, to maintain a forcible entry capability for this country. Ultimately, you need to have that to be decisive. With that in mind, we decided to take a little bit of a new approach. And what that involves is, number one, going fast. The traditional time frame that we expect from the time a technology matures to the time a system is in the hand of an operator is just too slow. With the acceleration, not just the proliferation, but the acceleration of technology. So what we're trying here, and what we were tasked by General Walsh and Mr. Burrows, Dr. Burrows, about 7 months ago, was I want you to go from a cold start, assemble as many of the naval warfighting centers and private industry partners as you can, lay out the problem to them in detail, actually to the scientists and the guys who bend metal, teach them the challenges we have with forcible entry, rapidly accelerate as many technologies as you can for demonstration, where we can, potentially down select others for further evaluation and potentially some type of acquisition. So we did that. And really the last 10 days has been remarkable in the sense that I don't think we didn't appreciate the value of having the engineers and the scientists and the technologists working shoulder to shoulder, because we had Marines from 1st LAR, from Recon Battalion, from 9th Com. I had one PhD from UNC Chapel Hill. The money quote was, I got to get one of these recon sergeants as a pen pal, because I've learned more about what the nature of the problem is and how I can solve it in the last couple of days than I have in the preceding months or years. So that's been fantastic. The other thing is the cross-pollination of the warfighting centers and the industry guys. You would think they'd all be very close hold, but it's almost been like a tech jam out here, where you've got the guy from Dahlgren and the guy from Panama City right next to each other, and they realize that, holy crap, my payload is going to make my UAS will make your payload perform better than your UAS. So there's a lot of cross-attaching. And that's been really fantastic too. So I think this model going forward, if we can sustain it, is going to help us go faster in the end. I think there are some technologies coming out of here, emerging capabilities that are going to get after the challenges we have with A2AD. And overall, yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's been pretty successful. Well, the robotics and automation are really one of the, I think, the most promising areas. A lot of what is, I think, most promising is the secret sauce of the algorithms and the software. And even that's been modified since we've been on station, where you've had scientists or technologists observing field training and the challenge ahead, running back to the trailer and start writing code. So I guess coming out of this, I think there's been a lot potential shown with the unmanned underwater systems, autonomous, that do the hydrographic survey, which is a very time-consuming and very risky operation before an amphibious assault. I think some of the promise shown for unmanned automated surface vessels shows a lot of promise. I think we're a ways out from program of record, but I think certainly it kind of opened up the realm of the possible there when we start talking about dispersed ops, dispersed lethality. How do we sustain dispersed forces in a Western Pacific type scenario? I think that there's stuff that's ready to go today. We've got these loitering lethal munitions that a squad leader can control. You're putting PGM capability in the hands of a squad leader. The ground robotics with the medium machine guns are working extremely well. I think that just like in what we say now in urban, going forward, the first one into the room should never be an air breather. It should be a robot with a lethal capability. Same thing coming ashore. The first wave today in this demonstration is going to be either totally autonomous or replicated autonomy, like the AAVs today. We've got the kits that make them, if not autonomous, remote, unmanned. But we haven't hit the safety threshold to have them operating in close proximity to dismounts, which they will later in the scenario. And I'll tell you something about the scenario today too. What you're not going to see today is you're not going to see the 10 days of sausage making with the Marines and the scientists and the technologists, which is really where we made our money. Today, we're kind of putting on a daytime demonstration. We would never do an operation like this in the daytime, but if we did it at night, nobody could see anything. But we want to paint a picture in the mind's eye to our leadership of what the realm of the possible is, and not 10 years from now, but if we make the right investments much sooner. I think we need to have some good faith on our part. These guys all came here on their own dime, both the warfighting centers and the private sector folks. And there's been a couple of pays to play, and there has to be a return on that investment. And not everybody's going to win coming out of here, but we really have to make progress and make investments in the most promising technologies coming out of this if we want to continue to do this. Right. Yeah, so this was a specific tactical problem that we wanted to get after. So I would say we wrap this up, and then we begin the next one, and we might look at a different problem set, like the challenges we envision operating in megacities. And in that case, we might do essentially the same 6-7 month model, and hopefully this time not only bringing in the naval warfighting centers, but the Army warfighting centers, and make it a more of a joint flavor, because Navy and Marine Corps are the same naval service. It's not really joint. And then you'd be looking at a venue like the Mega Mount facility, 29 Palms, or the National Guard one in Indiana, or maybe a combination of both.